Hi, I'm Ryan Malyar, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Marlborough Minute. Always so many exciting things happening in Marlborough, and today I'm excited to have a new guest on the show, someone I don't think I've had on here before. We have Ed LaRose. He's a trustee of the Marlborough Historical Society, serving his sixth year?
Sixth year.
Year number 6. So this guy knows his history, he's passionate about the history of Marlborough, and he's here to tell me about a special project that's happening. You might have seen they've cleared out some space in Marlborough for a really special statue to be erected. So is that a good jumping off point?
That's excellent jumping off point. Sam Boyd actually was born in Marlborough in 1815. We believe that he lived on Walker Street, which is right off of Maple. There's a Victorian house on the left-hand side just beyond River Street. Okay. We're not 100% sure that was his birthplace, but from there he had 3 shops right on Maple Street, 85 Maple, 40, and 30 Maple Street. From there, he progressed to, which everybody is absolutely amazed to hear, that Rose Funeral Parlor. That was one of Sam Boyd's first shoe manufacturing plants. And then there was one called the Corner Shoe Manufacturing Plant, which is now a laundromat right on the corner of Main Street.
No way.
Yes, sir. And
what years are we talking about here?
We're talking the mid-1800s.
Okay.
Yes. Sam was born in 1815, June the 2nd, and he died September the 19th, 1895. He was born in Marlborough and he died in Marlborough. And he always said that people would suggest, why don't you leave Marlborough? And his criteria was, I want to do as much to the community, which is Marlborough, as I possibly can. And he did. He was an outstanding citizen. So
he was an entrepreneur.
He was an entrepreneur.
Shoes is what he's known for most, am I right?
That's exactly how he became famous.
Okay.
Marlborough really never knew who Sam Boyd was. Bobby Kane had a presentation and gave us the history of Sam Boyd, and a couple of the members that I was involved in couldn't figure out why nobody in Marlborough, anybody, knew who Sam Boyd was. We heard the Howes and the O'Connells.
He was somehow lost to time.
Nobody knew who this man was. And so we became very passionate about it, and that's the beginning of where we started to decide that why don't we do something about it. And right now, like you spoke of earlier, right across the street here, we're at the old fire PD station at the corner of South Bolton and Main Street. You might see mulch there. That's the beginning of the future location of the Sam Boyd Park.
Yeah, I was parking the other day and I was like, wait, all these bushes went through. I've got nice access to walk across the street.
There you go.
But it has a reason.
Not for long.
Not for long. And
exactly right. And the reason is that is going to be the future home of the Sam Boyd statue.
Awesome.
It's going to be an exciting time. We've got a lot of support from Home Depot, who has financially supported us. A little shout out to Home Depot. They've done and got numerous donors. That's too many to go through each individual one now, but I thank you very much for all these donors who have helped us so far.
But there's still opportunities for the city and residents to get involved because you're doing a brick campaign, right?
Yeah, we just started this brick campaign. Right over here, there's a sketch that was developed by, I will shout out to my wife's girlfriend. She was an artistic designer, and she's the one that put this together for us. It's really spectacular. You might notice on the right-hand corner that there's a QR code, and you click on that, that'll bring you right to the Marlborough Historic link. And under that, it gives the actual mailing address if you want to send a donation. The bricks are $50 for a regular 4x8 brick, 3 lines with 20 characters maximum. Then an 8x8 is going to have 6 lines with the same format, 20 characters, and that's $100. So, and then you probably can't see it in here, but she designed a lot of the things that Sam Boyd was famous for, what he was able to contribute to the city of Marlborough. And I'd like to start, if I could, with, to me, I think the most important one was that if you fought in the Civil War and if you lived in Marlborough and if you had a family, Sam Boyd would financially support that family while he fought in the war. Sam Boyd was very petite. He was only about 5'2", and his age group wouldn't allow him to go in the war. So that was his way of contributing to the war effort.
So he was already an entrepreneur at the time. He had successful businesses, and that was him giving back to the community.
He had a coal business. He had a water business. He was getting water out of Lake Williams. At some point after that, the city of Marlborough decided, maybe we should try to, buy this system, and Sam Boyd donated what with the beginning of the water system in Marlborough. Back then, all the underground piping was just made out of wood, which is kind of hard to believe, but that's the way it was.
Wow.
Again, he had a coal company. He actually came in months of having the first electric trolley system in Marlborough. They go back and forth a couple of weeks, like 6 months, but in Baltimore, there was some other, Richmond, Virginia, I guess, were the two other places that people speak of the possibility that they were the first in the country. But, so he actually paid for the Marlborough trolley system, which started on Maple Street, went up Main Street, went up to Mechanic, took a left on Lincoln, went all the way to Pleasant, and then back down to Main Street, Marlborough. And then after that point in time, he put another spur and went up again Lincoln Street to Mechanic, Broad Street. Is it Broad Street? No, yeah. And then we took a left and went back down to Main Street. And
it's hard to even imagine what Marlborough was like at the time. So we're so lucky to have such an involved historical society that's able to collect the past for us and put it into perspective, to bring up someone like Samuel Boyd, who might have been forgotten, and point out all these really unique things that he was able to do in this community that were so impactful at the time.
This, I think, is so important that we've had this opportunity to let the people know, to help remember Sam Boyd by spending $50 or $100 to have a brick, and it's going to be for eternity. It's going to be there. People are going to say, "Oh, I know this guy," and so forth. So,
but also an opportunity for you to leave a legacy in Marlborough too.
Yeah, well,
to put your name on a brick that's going to be a part of the Marlborough culture, and be able to see that you left your mark there too. That's my family's name.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly correct. He also built the third railroad in Marlborough that nobody really knows. That was called the Agricultural Railroad. Bronx Hot Top Place on Mill Street. Mm-hmm. Right behind that was where the third railroad was, and he did that because the other place they had was up in the Lowell area, in the Worcester area, and he wanted to make Marlborough more of a manufacturing community, which was apples and so forth, and apple trees, pear trees. And so he was able to create this agricultural railroad to be able to deliver directly to Boston. So he circumvented all these other places.
Wow.
He actually built a park behind the McDonald's on Maple Street, which was actually built because Sunday was the off day on the trolley system. Apparently you could go from the shoe place home for like a penny. And back then they were complaining about not having enough time to go home to eat. So Sam Boyd built this trolley system. And on Sundays, the trolley system was there, but nobody was using it. So he says, like you say, I'm an entrepreneur, so let's build this park. He donated tons of money for different churches. I got a whole list of things that like I suggest he owned. On Newton Street, he built a indoor skating rink, not ice skating, but obviously the roller skating type rink. Then after that, apparently that didn't go too well, and then that common space was used for assembly areas. Well, everybody thinks that the Princess Theater in Marlborough was the first theater, but in reality, that same building that I just spoke of was the first theater in Marlborough. And Sam Boyd is the one that, again, with all his creativity and so, so on Main Street, after he did the corner store, he and Thomas Corey, who was another shoe manufacturer, they built in 3 different sections, which is now called the Corey Building. That back then was one block, and Sam Boyd was able to purchase one section, another section. One was called a brick, and then at one point he bought the center section. So that whole Corey block represented back then 3 separate, but in one point, one entity of all. But the largest one was where Chin's Garden, that parking lot that we just spoke of, where the statue is going to be. At what point, 1839 to 49, I think, was the largest shoe manufacturing plant in the country. He had 50,000 square feet, he had just under 1,000 people working for him at that point. So, and then the day that he died, they had a procession. They had 1,000 people that actually followed one, and he went up to what is now a rock lawn cemetery in Stevens, but back then it was called, I forget what the Shipman Cemetery. So, that's where he's buried. Actually, if you want to go see the big headstone that they had for him, was in the back of the cemetery. So he was the first president of the Marlborough Savings Bank, director of the First National Bank. He was a Marlborough selectman, became a state representative for the Massachusetts General Court. So Sam Boyd was the man. So again, I think it's appropriate that we're doing this. And he's obviously, you can see he was coined the father of our city.
Yeah.
In 1839, I think there was a population of 1,300, and 50 years later, there was a population of 13,000.
Yeah.
And that was directly related to Sam Boyd's shoe manufacturing abilities and so forth. So, yeah.
What do we know about him as a person?
Nobody does. Actually,
do we know about his? Was he a friendly guy? Was he married? Did he have kids?
He had, boy, you got me on this one.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I believe he had 3 daughters. He was a very petite man. He had a couple of brothers that were apparently the same stature as he was, very small men.
Yeah.
Obviously a very giving man. I don't know if there's any reference to him being friendly or outgoing, gregarious, but obviously he did quite a bit for the city of Marlborough.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd only imagine that he had, with the philanthropic nature of everything he was doing. But sometimes people can be a little cold sometimes too. You never know. We'll probably never know unless some old diary pops up saying what.
Well, I don't think that's possible, because I know that we've dug into him from inside and out and everywhere, because there's actually only one picture of him.
Oh.
Yeah, so
you took that one picture, and is that what the statue is now based off of, or at least the likeness of his face?
Absolutely. Yeah, the statue is going to be 5 foot 2 inches tall, and the base is going to be 4 feet. And it's going to be Dave Kapanopoulos is the kid who's going to be doing it. Dave is a lifelong member of Marlborough. He's the one that did the shoe work is in front of O'Reilly's auto place.
Right.
So he's the one that did that. So Dave right now, I spoke to him 2 days ago, and he's sent it off to the foundry. And like we spoke about, it was interesting to find out how they do the process.
Yeah, what's the process here?
I just assumed that a statue would maybe cast the whole thing. Well, David was telling me that it was almost like it was like a crime scene where they go to the factory and they cut up the arms, the heads, and so forth, legs and body, and separate these pieces and make them into individual castings. And after that was all sudden, they reassemble, and then David would fine tune, all the brass, I guess, or the bronze, I should say. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just quite interesting. So I'm going to have an opportunity to go probably in August to see approximately what the final look like is going to be. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Was it hard to get approval to have this statue placed right here?
Yeah, I didn't know, because again, this was a long process. City of Marlborough, everybody was so willing to help, open arms. I didn't have any pushback. City Council, there wasn't one nay on it. They were very optimistic about the outcome of this. Obviously, our current mayor is for it. City Council members are all for it. I've received donations for the City Council for the brick and so forth. So
yeah.
it's been about 4 years now. I've been a member for 6 years, and it just started right before the pandemic. It started to get really, tuned up to who this guy is and what we could do. So that's where we are right now.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your interest in Marlborough history. Were you born and raised here in Marlborough, or what brings you to this historic interest in the city?
What is really interesting about that is when we get married, have children, our focus is on that part. The issue that we have is by the time you have any interest in Marlborough's history, unless the one example that I can say is Matt Sargent. We all know who Matt Sargent is.
Absolutely.
He's one hell of a young man. I'm just fond of him, and blessed that he's part of the Marlborough Historical Society and all the other endeavors that he does. I'm 79 years old, and until the family's grown up, and if you have an interest, whether it be Marlborough or any other community, if you want to get involved, that's the time that happens. And it's a shame that there's not more people that are younger age. But again, if you have a family, if you get more involved, company, and you just don't have the time, the focus. But as far as getting involved, and that's the reason I did. And I find it fascinating how any community, Marlborough, has evolved from being an Indian plantation, from being part of Sudbury, and have to petition the state of Massachusetts to become separated to start your own community. It's just an amazing process. So I just urge everybody that if they have a little time on their hand, to give us a call, come to a meeting, get involved. Any help is really would be very helpful to us. And I think this is going to put a lot of spotlight on the Marlborough Historical Society in itself.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, here at WMCT-TV, one of our main goals is in preserving history now,
Yeah.
so that in the future, everything that we filmed is easy to find, and you can get these video glimpses of what Marlborough is like. So we're not collecting physical items like a museum or anything like that, but people will often say, "Oh, it's just another parade. It's just another," but the real value comes 50, 100, 1,000 years from now, if we've archived what we're doing right now well and made it accessible and in the best quality that we can make it at the time, then how invaluable that becomes in the future. So we try to think, we have this sort of living history initiative, just capturing everything now. And I'll even tell people, oh, go to the mall, just film the mall, just go down Main Street and film the storefronts and the restaurants, because that is something that's changing so quickly year after year. And you know, hearing about his contributions, we only wish now that we had more photographs and testimonial and letters and ideas of what this man did and his significance at the time.
Well, just like you had pointed out, you wanted to know what Sam Boyd was like. Was he friendly? Was he obtruse? You know, we don't know. The only thing we know is what we're able to know. You know, he had a small family. He was 77 years old when he died. You know, and it's funny you brought that up about history and how we want to preserve that. I can remember living up in New Hampshire, and my parents had gone next door, and it was maybe 11 o'clock at night, and I woke up, my parents were there, and I got very upset. So I called the operator. Well, back then our phone was just a zero. You turn the zero and you talk to Millie Margin, and I don't know how old I was, probably 6, 7, I was crying. Where my parents? So we evolved in my era from then to where we are now with the cell phones, the technology that we have.
Yeah,
you're right. We need to preserve. We need to, just like you're saying, Main Street Marlborough, what it looks like today, another 100 years, totally different.
Absolutely.
And if you don't preserve history, it's, you know, especially this is going away. Physical paper is going away. Any opportunity that I have to take pictures of family or trips that I've gone on, a physical copy, I'll always do that, because you never know. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to the Historical Society for this huge endeavor. It's going to be a big success.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now folks know that if they want to get involved, that bricks are for sale as well, to leave their mark and show their appreciation for the father of our city.
Yep. And also, I just want to add that you can go on the Marlborough website. It's either historicmarlborough.org or just plug into the Marlborough Historical Society. And when you plug up on that, right on the first page, it'll say Sam Boyd, donate. So it's an easy process to follow.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Ed. It's been
Thank
great
you.
having you here.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of Marlborough Minute. If you're in Marlborough and have something that you'd like to chat about on the show, you know where to find us here at WMCT-TV. Take care.